Hi guys, welcome to version 008 of the Incarnate system. Here we're going to be showing off just how far the random generators have come. Let's start off with the basic stuff you've seen in the past, which is our general generators that can do cities and whatnot. Of course, these are fully customizable, so I could just change this off to Elthrust. This is what I decided I'd call my Elven city. And you can edit this whole block, and whenever you're done with that, you can click the save button. I could change the name throughout, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Let's jump down into the next one. So whenever you generate these links, it creates a cross link both directions. Here it's marked as the parent element to allow you to quickly get back there. And over here, it's going to be called whatever the derived version was. So like if we go into, let's do a different commercial district because I really like the tavern generators. And there we have a tavern. And you see that this gave it a name, and eventually there'll be name generators associated with most of these. And the name that we have here automatically comes in over here, so it's easier to see as you navigate in the city in the future to find these files. And remember that any of these can be pinned to maps as well, thanks to the wonderful work that Tropos has done in the core software. So as we're coming in, the big change here is that we now have an NPC generator that as we click in, and it'll take a little bit for it to actually make all of the walls, assemble all of the items. What it's building for us is a combat-ready NPC that we could just drag and drop onto the map. And it has the health bar, has the full stats. It is ready to go. The big thing here though for me is that it has the lore. Because as we're going through the city, normally the players aren't going to go mortar hobo in the middle of a city. Normally they're going to be interacting with NPCs. This allows me to plan as much as I want in advance and then use the random generators for anything that I don't have prepped. If they don't like the tavern I gave them to start with, they can go to a new tavern. I can quickly glance around here. And okay, he likes to gamble. He's a bit on the evil side, all about profit. He's probably trying to undercut some of the other taverns in the area and might have some quests relating to sabotage with that. He might have bet too much recently and needs to have a horse race fixed to guarantee his bet. There's all sorts of things that I could come up with a quest off of this. Because he's evil, these are quests that could and would likely get the players in trouble with the law of wherever they're at. But if they want to, they could attempt these things. And the rewards would be there. There's other things going on in these generators as well. Let's go back up to that commercial district. And you notice that we have stores. And these stores have stock generators. So I can just open this up here. And now that it is open, I can open this guy back up. We can look at his items. Foundry is small enough you can drag it anywhere on here. So I'm just going to drag in some blowgun needles, alchemist supplies. He's going full hog and buying some parchment where he's at. It's really easy to drag those things over and it adds them all to the appropriate sections of the character sheet. So there's been a lot of progress here. And I saw a guy recently on Foundry that showed something similar to this without Dragon Ball hyperlinks, but formatted to be much prettier. And I think I'm going to upgrade this to look more like that. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we will get there. That is how it works. Let's get into a little bit more of how to set up. The key thing that's running most of this is that we have settings that are regionalized, so that we can have like world settings, but we can also right click on any of the journal folders and set regional settings so that a particular state or city may look very different than what the world does. You may even have a small commune within the city that you create a subfolder for and create another thing that boosts this stats differently. So here, these two are going to be largely the same because Zagnar is the same level as the world. I haven't done any other states throughout the world yet. But when we get to Elthrust, the Elven city, as you'd expect when we look at races, the elf number is very different. I've kept the other numbers here. And that's going to make the world seem to be about the same, because the odds of a tiefling just mixed in with the masses will be the same, but the odds of the elf in Elfin City has changed dramatically. And you can customize this as much as little as you want. And there's other things going on here, so like you can do classes and races. Maybe you want to have the backgrounds on the coast give you a much higher chance of a sea captain. There's all sorts of different things you can do here. The backgrounds aren't fully integrated yet, but give us a little bit more time and that'll be rolling out as well. And of course, to set them up, let's create a new commune. So I'm going to create a new folder, and this is going to be the Mycone Rolling. Mycone are one of my favorite homebrew races. I've played 3 of them, I think, in games, and they are a blast to me. If you have an opportunity, try looking through our content and looking them up. So here, you notice that it automatically pulled in the Elthrost sayings, including that half a factor of Dragonborn. You can stick in any decimal you want or any whole number. Not negatives, but any positive number. And here we have some basic settings to quickly create some defaults for us. The top one here, the mirror world settings, whatever we have set over here, it was suck in. The next one down, mirror parent settings, that's the default when you first create a folder. It would try that. If that doesn't exist, then it's going to pull from the world settings. If that doesn't exist, it's going to come down to this next one, the default settings. This is going to take a lot longer because it's actually pulling from the 3 compendium files that have stuff that I bundle in with this. Of course, if you have your own homebrew and want to do all your own stuff and ignore my stuff, you can always clear the settings and start adding in just the compendiums you want. So let's say we want to add the classes in from here. Now, an important thing to note here, it will get confused if you leave one of these blank. So if it tries to roll in the backgrounds and there's nothing there, it's going to be very unhappy. So make sure that you keep something in everything. So if you're doing it custom, you need something there. And let's speed this up real quick by going back to the parent settings. And then let's come down here. And I already have a 300 here. So we're going to leave that and then come down to the Mycone. And we want to do something more than 300 to make it so there's a good chance of the Mycone being generated. So at this point, we have a very large chance of Mycone, a reasonable chance of an elf, because it is an elven city, and then a very tiny chance of these other things, with just whatever's left over. And the poor Dragonborn is a half a point of close to 1,000 points, so it's going to generate about 1 in 2,000. But that's okay. I could make this more or not. It depends on how many Dragonborn you want in your game. I think they should be rare, but you may think very differently. Over here, we'll also see settings for maximum XP, minimum XP, party level, and party size. Explaining this maximum and minimum, those really are going to, not yet, but they're going to tie into the random generators. The random generator I have right now is bundled with the compendium view. I'm planning on making a second one that's going to be separate and can run a bit more efficiently. It works, but it does too much on that load. So let's take a quick look. Let's say we want a CR 1, 2, or 3 monster-wise, and we want it to be in a cavern terrain. And let's make it so that we have a maximum XP. For these, I tend to look here, and in this case, I'm going to aim for close to 1,000 and bring it down to somewhere on there, so 500. And let's roll up a bunch of these so I can just pick and choose which ones I want. And there we have a bunch of options. And as with most things in the system, you can just drag and drop and have your ogres popping out of the bushes. The first time it brings it into your world, it will actually add that file into your world, and then you can drag into your monsters wherever you want it to be. But then after that, it will just reference the same existence. So if I drag orcs again, we don't get another pop-up, it just keeps linking to that. But Foundry is smart enough that they each have their own health for you to be able to have a good combat of monsters and minions and stuff without needing the bloat of having it in many different places. Atropos did a marvelous, marvelous job of that. So this is how the random generator works right now. And you can see how fast it is with creating results, but to actually get the data it needs to make these results is a bit redundant. I'm going to speed that up a lot and make a second random generation script that's going to be pluggable in other locations. Like you might be able to have a waypoint wherever Atropos gets around to the triggering system that triggers that random generation and places them on the map. But the other thing that's going to be cool is down here in the miscellaneous section, we can go to random adventuring day. And here you'll see that it does generate things already, but right now it just says random encounter, and then you open up the random encounter generator and have something jumping out of the bushes. We also have traveling backgrounds that can randomly join in. And in this case, we have a student of magic, and by the time I've said that you notice a young person walking down the street towards you, carrying a bunch of books and weighted down by a long, heavy robe, I have all open. I'm starting to read through and trying to figure out how I'm going to roleplay her. Why is she on the road? What is going on here? And we have enough information here that I think I can pull that off. And I've pulled that off with just this in the past. Having the full stat block is amazing. I'm hoping that by the next update we'll have the skills and abilities pre-done. Right now, skills, abilities, and languages are the only things not done. And even languages, you can check them out over here if you want. That being said, that means we're almost there. She's a wizard, and she even has those spells pre-done for us. So it's really coming together. There's a lot here, but there's still a lot of improvement I want to do. These random generators are amazing, but can you imagine being able to go to the dungeon generator and asking it for 5 chamber, and having not just generate the lore behind it, not just generate the random encounters it's talking about, but also generating a map that you can then go through an adventure, and it's randomly generated with hidden things and walls and the whole 9 yards. That is amazing, and make it so much easier to respond to our players going off script. That is my goal. That is where I want to head. I want to make it so easy to run a game that anyone can do it using these tools and having it all in one place. Now, you may have seen that I showed at the beginning we had made 0 wars. Just in those clicks we've done nearly 1,000 rolls, but it hasn't felt like it. Can you imagine doing almost 1,000 rolls by hand? This is designed to speed up this process and to make everything go smoothly. It's designed so that if I don't know what something is, I can just click on it and get a pop-up that tells me what it means. And some of these pop-ups will go back into the core rulebook and show you what it means in all sorts of fun ways. So there's been a huge amount of progress and there's a huge amount of work. Thank you guys for your support of this project. Thank you for liking these videos and sharing them with your friends. Thank you for the following. We're just beginning to grow. And thank you for allowing me to work for you. It's been an honor to be putting in 40 plus hours a week, and we've been making so much progress on all the different features, and you guys have been throwing out advice and ideas for new things to be working in. We've made so much headway. Things are easier with each update. And each update brings a little bit more power to our fingertips and a little bit more fun to our games. Thank you for making that possible. Thank you for those of you who have already gone over to my Patreon and joined in and are helping out with us. Thank you for those that are in the higher levels and have increased access to me and to pitching their ideas and getting priority for what comes up. I'm really excited with the direction this business is going. I'm really excited with what we're accomplishing. I'm really excited with how we're lowering the bar on what it takes to be a good game master, allowing game masters to respond when players go off of the book, because I think that the strength of this genre is that our only limitation is our imagination, and you're helping to make that possible. Not just for an elite few, those super geniuses that can come up with whole new storylines in seconds, but for the Joe Schmo who needs a little bit of a helper prompt and clicks the button and gets it as well. Together, we are designing a system that teaches social skills and gets us working together and playing together. A fun place where as iron sharpens iron, so we're finding each other. And so while having fun and laughing and joking around, we're learning the skills that research projects like Google's Project Oxygen have identified as the most valuable skills in every industry across the map. You are helping make this possible. And it's been a blast. I wouldn't have traded these months for anything. And I really hope to keep doing this long term. But that's really going to depend on you guys. It's your support that provides the funding for this so that I can do things like pay health insurance and eat food. So head on over to Patreon and join in. Share this with your friends so the community can continue to grow. And together, let's build worlds. Let's build universes. Let's build friends. Let's build teams that fight and stand together in fantasy, but also laugh and stand together in real life. Thank you guys. God bless you and have a great day.